Dr. Frank Luntz is a political and communications consultant, and he's with us now. Hi, Doctor. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. You turned so
by the way,
on. What sort of impact does... I'm good, thanks. What sort of impact does that have on a party, a government?
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that I know from the research that I do is that those shots right there are horrible shots. When it looks like the politician doesn't want to answer the question, when it looks like they're literally running away, as you showed right there, that's a party that's being challenged. That's a party that's on the defense. One of the things I'm going to say later on at this conference is do not do that. If someone asks you a question, stop, answer it for them, and then say, that's all I have time for. But when you keep moving like that, and the journalist is asking you a question, what does it look like to the average voter? That you're running away. In terms of the about face, one of the challenges I think that exists right now, and it is something that we know in American politics, you have to explain, you have to inform, you have to educate. You cannot assume that the population truly understands what you're about, what you're trying to do, unless you inform them and make the effort as a teacher to educate, and that's not happening as much as it should. I know we're on live TV. I'm just so frustrated looking at those pictures of those politicians because I know the damage that that does to their efforts.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was a couple of minutes ago as they're heading into conference. I think it was probably a surprise to certainly some of them, but I get your point. But here's my question. When it comes to the leader, does it, when they do a volte-face, when they do change their minds so early on, does that show that they are a good, strong leader because they're listening to public opinion, or does that show that they are bending in the wind?
That's a great question. And the key is, once again, how you explain it, is that we heard from the public. They spoke loud and clear, and we are listening, we are responding, we get it. If that's the basis of the change in policy, it will be extremely well received. If it's that we were put under pressure or that we broke, if it's just called a U-turn, then that will hurt them. Everything is about context. Everything is about how it's explained, how it's positioned, and we don't know yet what that positioning will be over the next 24 hours. But we got a long way away between now and the next election here in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they obviously were listening to you. That's exactly what the social media comments have said, both from the Prime Minister and indeed her Chancellor, saying, we listened, we get it. So that is what they're saying. But we haven't not necessarily seen a united front yesterday when the Prime Minister looked as though she was throwing her own Chancellor under the bus, saying that it was his decision, almost nothing to do with me.
I think you read too much into it. I think the British politics remind me a little bit of what's going on in the old Soviet Union when you'd see who would be standing next to Brezhnev. Are they one person away, two people away, five people away? I think you read too much into their comments. In this country, the Chancellor has specific responsibilities. Unlike in America, where the cabinet follows the White House, here there's some level of independence. The bank is independent. You have a different process. And I'm not sure if the public understands that different process. And frankly, the Chancellor does have responsibilities. And he was doing his job when he offered that point of view.
Yeah, I mean, with respect, perhaps you don't read enough into it, Doctor, because the nuances in British politics can be the difference between the Chancellor making a speech at 4 o'clock this afternoon and being out of a job by 5.
Well, with all due respect, my responsibility is to understand the impact of the voter rather than what people feel in a party conference. And I will tell you that voters don't care about this. Look, they're struggling to pay their bills. They're struggling to pay their electricity. They're hoping that they're not going to lose their homes over the next couple of years. That's what voters care about, not whose responsibility was it in terms of taxes. I'm a pollster. My job is to understand public opinion, and I wish that the media would be more focused on what people actually care about rather than these symbolic statements about whether it's person responsibility A or responsibility B. I know from coming from America how challenging it is right now, the economy, the economic inflation and prices and cost of living. And I wish that the public would focus. I wish that you all would focus much more on that rather than a simple throwaway line from the Prime Minister.
You're obviously new to my work. It's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the programme this morning. Sadly, we are out of time, about to go off air. It would have been lovely to talk to you for longer. Maybe when I can catch up with you when I come up to Birmingham, we can have another chat. It's great to see you. Thanks very much.